Engineered hardwood floors have been marketed as the perfect flooring solution for the past 2 decades. Real wood beauty, more stable than solid hardwood, can be refinished just like the real thing. Works over concrete and radiant heat. It sounds like you get everything without the compromises. Sounds too good to be true, right? That's because it often is. Most homeowners are living with floors that silently work against them for years without ever understanding why. The good news is that once you understand how engineered flooring really works, you can't unsee it. If you don't want to be sold a mistake, subscribe, hit like and hype. After researching industry reports, talking to flooring inspectors, and analyzing data from professional refinishers, I've put together everything the flooring industry doesn't want you to know about engineered hardwood. Some of this will surprise you, some might make you angry, especially if you just installed it in your home. But if you're considering new floors, this information could save you thousands of dollars and years of frustration. Let's start with the name itself. Real wood is just a phrase. Are you really getting real wood? Here's something interesting. We have solid hardwood, natural stone, genuine leather. Products where real actually means something. Full thickness material all the way through. But engineered hardwood, the phrase real wood, was added purely for marketing reasons. Michael Martin, president and CEO of the National Wood Flooring Association, put it directly. He said the marketplace is fraught with confusion about real wood flooring products. Multi-layered constructions and improved visuals make it challenging to tell fake wood from real wood. That's coming from the head of the industry's own trade association. At its core, engineered hardwood is a thin slice of actual hardwood glued on top of layers of plywood. That's it. The real wood label doesn't indicate the same quality or longevity as solid hardwood. It's simply a way to make a partially wood product sound premium. Think about it. Have you ever heard of real wood solid hardwood? Of course not. Solid hardwood doesn't need a marketing term. The fact that engineered needed to add real wood tells you everything. A $2 per square foot product with a 0.6mm veneer and an $8 product with a 6mm veneer. Both called real wood. The difference in lifespan? 7 years versus 30 years. But the marketing makes them sound equivalent. Laminate flooring doesn't pretend to be real wood. It's marketed honestly as an affordable alternative. Similarly, luxury vinyl plank, or LVP, makes no claims about being wood. It's positioned as a waterproof synthetic option. Engineered hardwood's positioning creates unrealistic expectations. Homeowners walk into stores thinking they're getting real hardwood at a discount. What they often get is a paper-thin slice of wood on plywood with a name designed to make them feel good about their purchase. What happens when water gets under your floor? This is the biggest misconception about engineered hardwood and the one that causes the most expensive problems. The marketing says it handles humidity better than solid hardwood. Technically true, but a flooring inspector explained it perfectly. Engineered hardwood's plywood core is highly absorbent. Once moisture penetrates through joints, it spreads internally. The damage is progressive, not immediate. By the time it's visible, the internal structure is already compromised. What does that mean in practice? Engineered floors are installed with joints between planks. Those joints are not watertight. When liquid sits on the floor, it seeps through gaps and reaches the plywood underneath. Once moisture gets beneath your floor, you have a serious problem. The floor looks fine from above, but underneath moisture is trapped. The plywood swells, planks begin cupping and crowning, and if that moisture came from pet urine, you have an odor problem no surface cleaning will solve. One kitchen example from professionals. A minor refrigerator leak went unnoticed for 36 hours. Surface showed no damage initially. Within days, swelling appeared along plank edges. Engineered hardwood works in humidity ranges of 30 to 50%. Florida averages 75%. Texas sits around 68% humidity. Arizona's low desert regions hover near 30% but spike during monsoon season. Much of the South regularly exceeds recommended levels. If you have a dishwasher that might leak, grandchildren who spill drinks, or any appliance using water, engineered hardwood is not forgiving. One incident, 36 hours, permanent damage. Can your floor survive your pets? If there's one group aggressively marketed engineered hardwood, it's pet owners. The argument makes sense on the surface. You have dogs, accidents happen. You need flooring that handles real life. Engineered hardwood seems perfect compared to carpet, but professionals who deal with pet damage tell a different story. Based on reports from flooring restoration companies, many homeowners assume pet urine won't be a problem because engineered hardwood looks like solid wood. Unfortunately, that's rarely the case. The pattern appears consistently. Surface looks clean, but smell keeps coming back because urine has absorbed into the thin veneer and plywood core beneath. Here's what typically happens when your dog has an accident. If you catch it immediately and clean it up, you're probably fine. The surface finish provides some protection, but if that accident happens overnight, while you're at work or in a spot you don't notice immediately, urine has time to seep through the joints and absorb into the wood grain and plywood core. With solid hardwood, even extensive urine damage can often be sanded out. You can sand down half an inch and reach fresh wood underneath. With thin veneer engineered hardwood, that option doesn't exist. The veneer absorbs the urine, but you can't sand deep enough to remove it without hitting plywood. Flooring professionals consistently report that once pet urine penetrates engineered hardwood, the ammonia damage tends to go deeper than the sandable veneer layer. This is why many in the industry advise against expecting miracle products to remove pet damage from thin veneer floors. Then there's the scratch problem. Engineered hardwood is not scratch resistant. The thin veneer scratches just like solid wood, sometimes worse because there's less material to absorb impact. Dog nails are particularly devastating. Every time your dog runs across the floor, slides to greet you at the door, or scrambles to their feet after lying down, those nails are removing finish and cutting into the veneer. With solid hardwood, scratches can be sanded away during refinishing. With thin veneer engineered hardwood, those scratches are permanent. The irony is painful. Pet owners are told this flooring is practical for them. In reality, if you have pets that might have accidents, engineered hardwood shows permanent damage within the first year with no realistic way to repair it. What happens when your floor gets scratched? One of the biggest advantages of solid hardwood is renewal through sanding and refinishing. A solid floor can be refinished 3 to 5 times over its lifespan. That's potentially 50 to 100 years from a single floor. When it scratches or wears, you don't replace it, you restore it. The floor comes back looking almost new. Engineered hardwood doesn't offer this option, at least not in the way salespeople imply. David Emmerling, president of Buff & Coat Hardwood Floor Refinishing in Virginia, with over 20 years of experience, explained it perfectly. He said, "The golden rule is simple. You need at least 2 millimeters of veneer thickness to safely attempt any sanding. That's roughly the thickness of 2 pennies stacked together. Go thinner than this, and you're playing a dangerous game where one wrong move with the sander could expose the plywood core underneath." The National Wood Flooring Association is even more specific. John Forbes, the National Wood Flooring Association's Director of Manufacturer Services, published guidelines stating that if the wear thickness is less than 2.5 millimeters, the floor should not be sanded at all. Here's the data that matters. Veneers of 1 millimeter or less cannot be sanded at all. Only recoat the existing finish with products like Bona-Traffic or Rubio Monocoat refresh systems. 2 millimeters, 1 light sanding maximum. Maybe, if you're extremely careful. 3 millimeters, 1 to 2 sandings over the entire lifetime. 4 to 6 millimeters, 2 to 5 sandings. Finally approaching solid hardwood capability. The problem? Most budget and mid-range engineered hardwood sold today has veneers of 2 millimeters or thinner. The thick veneer products that can actually be refinished multiple times cost nearly as much as solid hardwood. You also need to save extra planks from your original installation. If you didn't buy extras, you'll need to find matching planks. Flooring styles get discontinued constantly. Colors change. Even the same product can vary between manufacturing batches. What would be a simple refinishing job on solid hardwood becomes a major replacement project on engineered. According to the National Association of Realtors 2022 Remodeling impact report. Refinishing existing hardwood floors yields 147% cost recovery. You spend money refinishing and get more back in home value. Engineered doesn't offer this equation. When damaged, you're spending money just to get back where you started. Is sunlight slowly destroying your floor? Here's a problem that develops slowly over time. Engineered hardwood fades when exposed to prolonged sunlight. UV rays affect both finish and veneer, causing colors to shift and lighten. Industry sources recommend curtains, blinds, or UV-blocking window films to mitigate this. This matters especially in sunny climates like Florida, Arizona, Texas, or Southern California. That living room with floor-to-ceiling windows and southern exposure? Slowly destroying your floor every day. Damage becomes obvious around rugs and furniture. Covered areas keep original color while exposed areas fade. When you move that rug, you'll see visible color difference that cannot be fixed. Unlike solid hardwood where you can sand down to fresh wood and restain, thin veneer offers no such option. The fading is permanent. What's hiding beneath your floor? Engineered hardwood is often marketed as easier installation compared to solid hardwood. The click lock system means faster work without specialized equipment. But this apparent simplicity hides a critical requirement. Many installers, especially homeowners doing it themselves, ignore or underestimate. Engineered hardwood requires an extremely flat subfloor and proper acclimation period. Industry standard tolerance is 1/8 of an inch variation over 10 feet. That's very tight. Most products also require 48 to 72-hour acclimation in the installation space before beginning work. Flooring inspectors report that many of their service calls involve floors separating at joints, making clicking or creaking sounds, or developing gaps between planks. The cause is almost always subfloor preparation or skipped acclimation. When subfloor has high spots or low spots, engineered planks bridge over them. Every time you step on that area, the plank flexes slightly. This puts stress on the tongue and groove or click lock joints. Over time, joints fail. Planks separate, gaps appear, edges start to lift. An expert explained that movement in the underlayment allows the plank to shift and compress under your feet, causing locking edges to rub together. This creates noise and accelerates wear on the joints. Professional installers know to spend significant time on subfloor prep. They use leveling compounds to fill low spots and grind down high spots. A proper moisture barrier or vapor barrier is also essential over concrete slabs. This prep work can add considerable cost to installation, but it's essential for lasting results. DIY installers eager to start clicking planks together often skip this step. The floor looks great on day one. 6 months later, it's making noise and developing gaps that only get worse over time. What chemicals are you breathing every day? This is the topic the flooring industry doesn't like to discuss. Engineered hardwood has two potential sources of concerning chemicals. First, adhesives binding layers together often contain formaldehyde-based resins. Premium products may use Baltic birch plywood cores with low emission adhesives, while budget options often use HDF cores with higher chemical content. Formaldehyde is classified as a known human carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Second, surface finishes may off-gas volatile organic compounds for weeks or months after installation. Factory finishes like aluminum oxide coatings can contribute to initial off-gassing. Health effects can include sore throat, cough, scratchy eyes, nosebleeds, and respiratory symptoms. People with asthma or breathing conditions are especially sensitive. Infants, elderly, and anyone with respiratory sensitivities are at higher risk. The good news is that regulations exist. Since March 2019, the California Air Resources Board and EPA TSCA Title VI require all composite wood products sold in the United States to meet formaldehyde limits of 0.05 parts per million. That's the legal floor. But the legal minimum isn't the same as healthy. For better protection, look for FloorScore certification, administered by the Resilient Floor Covering Institute and verified by SCS Global Services. FloorScore tests for 35 individual volatile organic compounds, not just formaldehyde. GreenGuard Gold is another independent certification worth looking for. The bad news? Many budget products, Particularly imports with less oversight meet only the minimum legal requirement. Premium products go further. Budget products often don't. If you experienced unexplained respiratory symptoms after installation, your floors may be contributing. Will buyers pay more for your floor? Here's the reality check if you plan to sell your home. Real estate listings highlight hardwood floors. It's a selling feature. According to the National Association of Realtors, hardwood floors can increase home value by 2.5% or more. Over half of buyers are willing to pay a premium for them. The NAR 2022 Remodeling Impact Report is specific. Refinishing existing solid hardwood returns 147% of cost. Installing new solid hardwood returns 118%. Engineered hardwood doesn't get the same treatment. You rarely see listings prominently highlight engineered hardwood the way they highlight solid wood. At best, it's neutral. At worst, it can signal to buyers that corners were cut. The perception tends to vary by market. In some areas, engineered hardwood is seen as a practical choice. In others, particularly upscale neighborhoods, it may work against you. Based on feedback from real estate forums and investor discussions, engineered hardwood is sometimes viewed as a budget alternative, rather than a premium feature. The bottom line, engineered doesn't appear to add significant resale value the way solid wood does. If choosing based on home value, the data suggests solid wood offers a stronger return. When does engineered hardwood actually make sense? I want to be fair here. Engineered hardwood isn't always the wrong choice. There are situations where it genuinely makes sense. Nick Yahudain, CEO of Advanced Builders and Contractors in Los Angeles, was interviewed by Family Handyman about this exact question. He confirmed that both engineered and solid hardwood are viable options with distinctive pros and cons. Based on his assessment, engineered hardwood tends to make sense if you want a classic hardwood look, prefer a lower initial cost, and want to handle the installation yourself. Solid hardwood, on the other hand, makes sense if you want a floor that can last up to 100 years and don't mind professional installation. Over concrete slabs where solid hardwood cannot be nailed down is a primary example. Solid wood and concrete don't mix well without expensive preparation. Quality engineered hardwood with a thick veneer can work beautifully in these situations. Basements with potential moisture concerns are another legitimate use case. The dimensional stability handles humidity fluctuations better than solid wood in below-grade installations. Over radiant heating systems that require dimensional stability, solid hardwood can cup and gap with temperature changes. Engineered hardwood is specifically designed for this application. Climates with extreme humidity swings, where solid wood would constantly expand and contract, can benefit from engineered hardwood's more stable construction. And when you buy quality, if you choose engineered hardwood, here are minimum specifications I recommend. Veneer thickness of 4 mm or more. This gives actual refinishing potential and real durability. Floor score or green guard. Gold certification for indoor air quality. Your family's health matters. Professional installation with proper subfloor preparation and acclimation period. The money you save on DIY often costs more in problems later. Quality underlayment if using floating installation. Keep realistic expectations. Your floor may last 15 to 20 years with careful maintenance. It will not last 50 to 100 years like solid hardwood. Budget for eventual replacement. Engineered hardwood has its place, but that place is not every room in every home, no matter what the marketing says. Before you install, ask critical questions. What's underneath right now? Could you refinish existing hardwood instead of covering it? How much sunlight does this room receive? Do you have pets? What happens when there's an accident you don't notice immediately? Are you buying quality or just marketing? The phrase real wood is just a phrase, not a guarantee. Know what you're really getting. Make your decision based on reality, not advertising. If you have engineered hardwood, what's your honest experience? Do you love it or regret it? Drop your story in the comments.